Hello, Journey of Success, and welcome to November Live. My name is Yolanda Smith. I am the Life Coach Navigator. I am committed to helping you with life and financial complexities of life. This month is November to remember to have a healthy relationship with your money. Tonight, we have a special guest, you guys, my brother from another mother, who will be helping us navigate on this journey. He was born and raised in San Bernardino, California. He has a degree in communication. We all need to know about this, right? And he has decades of experiences in the TV industry. He now has transitioned to the financial services industry. He specializes in educating families and business owners to generate wealth. Yes, I said it, wealth. And he always put God first in everything that he do. You guys welcome Mr. Reggie Whiteley. Good. Hey, Reggie, what's going on? Good to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Yolanda. Appreciate you inviting me on here. So proud of you and all your accomplishments, and you're navigating your coach business. I know you got a lot of different businesses as well, but I know it's your passion.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Well, kind of like you mentioned, born and raised in San Bernardino, California. If you're not familiar with that, it's about 45 minutes outside of Los Angeles. Grew up there, went to high school there, went to college there. So I consider myself very homegrown. Um, right, got my college degree there, my bachelor's degree, excuse me, my master's degree, and if you're not catching me serving families and educating families, you can catch me at a local sporting event, rooting on my favorite team, and or at the beach because this brother like water.
I
Pause.
love it. I love it. Look, sports on the beach. I love it. Well, let's get into this money talk because look, you're the guy that we all need navigating through this journey of life. We love using that phrase funny, money is funny and all that. We're so tired of those phrases. I want to know how to build this wealth. So we got the expert here tonight that's going to help us. So Reggie, can you share like your personal financial journey and some key milestones and lessons you learned along the way?
Oh man, yes, absolutely. That's a great question, and when you ask that, there are different phases that you go through when you're along your financial journey. I definitely have had many different phases. I know growing up, uh, I wouldn't say I was poor, weren't rich, we're very middle class, and so that gave me a lot of opportunities to learn about money, what to do with it, not what not to do with it. But at the same time, I didn't have everything that I always wanted. Right, had some discipline in there. But when I got to, I would say high school, I had to get my first job, and so I had to earn some money versus it being given to me as an
Oh
adolescent.
wow.
And so my
Hmm.
first job, my first job, I was a t-ball coach for the city of San Bernardino, of course, right? And I was about 15 years old,
Oh wow.
and I spent, I was getting compensated for the work that I was doing, but also getting compensated. It taught me to, if I want some things, I got to save the money. And so very early on, I had the discipline. I had some really good parents that really taught me to put something away for long term.
That's awesome. That's awesome that your parents raised you to make sure you put money up and to save because a lot of times you don't hear a lot of people saying that. You don't hear a lot of people, talking about how to save their money. Everybody want to be like the Joneses. They see the lifestyle that they want, but they don't know how to get it. They thinking, oh, if I go buy this and I do this, I'll have it. So can you share with the audience like what strategies or habits you have found that is most efficient in achieving your financial stabilities?
Yeah, I would say definitely getting educated on how money works. You know, how money works. Do you know
Okay.
how taxes work? Getting educated on taxes, what you have to pay, what you don't have to pay. Um, who is who is teaching you, you know, some different strategies. You don't have to make a lot of money to get a financial advisor or a financial partner or coach or anything of that nature. You know, just have to kind of look for them. That's something I specialize in. You know, over the last decade or so, and it's been, you know, almost pretty much my life's work. But strategies, I would definitely say making sure you have all your ducks in a row. Um, Putting away a little bit, even if it's $10,
Mm-hmm.
$25, because what most people don't have in place are the habits. So this is why we see an example when somebody hits the lottery, they go broke over the next couple of years, or God forbid something happens to them.
Absolutely.
Because the habits weren't instilled. Because when they had $20, they were blowing through that. So you can imagine if they get 20 million or 200, right? So I would definitely instill some disciplines with a small amount. That way, over time, it's going to turn into a bigger amount.
Absolutely. I love that. And how important is it to set those financial goals? Because you know, us as women, we love to get our hair done. We love to look good. How can we set those financial goals to be able to say, "Hey, I can look good on a budget"? Because getting your hair done nowadays is not like it used to be. We pay a lot of money for this hair. We pay a lot of money to look good. So, what are some important goal settings that we can do for financial goals?
Absolutely. And if we take it to our culture, you know, our hair is our crown, right? So that has to be that's one of our crown jewels. But those are extremely important, because if you don't have a goal, you're just going. You don't have a target to hit, right? You don't have a target to hit. So every month, what I would recommend is how much money are you going to save on a monthly basis? And you know, over time, it's going to grow. So let's say if we have, you know, our goal is to save $100 for that month. Most people get paid twice a week. Can you save $50 a paycheck? And I understand we're in a market right now and in very tough times,
Mhm.
to where that may even be a stretch. So sometimes you may have to shrink the goal to achieve it. So what I recommend, make your goal very attainable so you hit it every single month. When by the time you look up at the end of the year, you have a set amount, so you can go get your hair done, take those trips, get your nails done, take the kids to Disneyland, you know, because you have to have that family time or do things for yourself also.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So, what are some of the things that we should avoid when it comes to money and how not to lose it so quickly?
Oh, I can tell you, definitely shopping, right? We know Black Friday's coming up, for example, right? And a lot of people think they're going to be
Yes.
getting deals. That's a scam, right? It's a scam. So, well, and shopping, you know, in moderation. I like nice things in life too, but it's got to come in moderation, right? You can't plan on buying Gucci and Lucci and Uchi over your lights and having a nice car, but you got to put the priorities in place. So I think a lot of pitfalls a lot of people run into
Mhm.
are not saving correctly or spending frivolously, right? Um, I know one point in time, a quick story. I know my mom, when she was in her working years, she's retired now, but she loved to shop, right? And she accrued, unfortunately, quite a bit of credit card debt, right? And so that pitfall of her just
Mm.
um, impulse shopping, I like to call it, right, got her in a world of debt. So, but kind of fast forward a few years later, I had started, you know, started in the industry and was able to implement some strategies to get her to eliminate some of that, if not all of that debt. But some of the main pitfalls I would say is spending unnecessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when I left high school and I was on my own, nobody could tell me nothing. I'm going shopping, I'm doing everything. So, yeah, I learned my lesson the hard way.
Yep, yep.
The very
Me
hard
too.
way. And here I am calling mom and dad. They're like, no, you grown, remember?
Yeah, yeah. It's so important. I know. I remember when I got my first car. It was a kind of tell my age here. It was a 1994 Nissan Sentra, right? And I had a little job at the time, and
Oh,
I
wow.
was buying 13-inch rims, right? For and putting first you got to get the rims, so then you got to get the sound in the trunk, right, to take up the whole trunk.
Hmm.
And so early on, I found out this is stuff that I really don't need. And now I see young folks driving around bumping. I hate it, because like you're wasting so much money.
I know when you see them, you really want to tell them, like, look, I was just like you. And I know trying to tell them is like they act just like you were when we was young. It's like, I don't want to hear nothing you say. And then it takes when you get older to be like, man, I should have listened. Yeah. So let's talk about how does right. So how does one strike a balance between enjoying the presence and saving for the future? Like, I want to save for the future, but I got the present going on right now. What advice would you have for this balance?
That's an awesome question. And I would say it's got to come in moderation, right? It's got to come in moderation, like most things. We don't always eat healthy. We're going to have a burger, right? Now and then. So same thing when it comes to having a balance between your money. You got to have family time. You got to have vacation time, right? So you got to put away for those things. But where you can go vacation whenever time you want, right? Or whenever your job allows you to. So, and I know people say, well, tomorrow's not promised, right? Tomorrow's not promised. I got to spend my money right now. But you're living in the now is going to get you broke in the future. So I would definitely say it's got to come
Mm,
in moderation. You got to have some balance. You got to have, if that trip to Fiji or St. Lucia, or rekindling your honeymoon, and things of that nature. You got to put away for that
yeah.
stuff, or kids' college, right? At the same time, if you're living for
Hmm.
right now, again, I know tomorrow isn't promised, but I'd rather have some savings, and at least be able to have a future later on.
I love that. I love that. So, what can you tell the viewers that have that mindset? It's like, hey, tomorrow's not promised. So, how do you talk to your clients of changing their mindset? Like, yeah, tomorrow might not be promised, but what about the individuals we're leaving behind, especially those like me? I have kids, and I want to live my life. But at the same time, I got to live for my kids' future as well. What kind of advice do you have for them?
Absolutely. I like what they say today. Yesterday's price isn't today's price, right? And so that plays more true than ever right now. You think about, times of change. In my early 40s, my parents or my family didn't really think about, passing on wealth from generation to generation. Number one, we weren't supposed to, because the game wasn't meant for us to win. But times have changed, and now we have access and the opportunity to do so. So we got to take full advantage of it. And so if that's putting away a little bit more, for our future, for our children, because tomorrow isn't promised. But at the same time, God forbid if something happens to you, and this is what I tell my clients: God forbid if something happens to you, can Mr. or Mrs. Client go pick up the slack for the person that now passed on, right?
Mm,
And so
I like that.
we really got to put that into perspective, because tomorrow isn't promised. So that doesn't mean spend all the money right now. That means be prepared, right? I always like to steal Too Short's quote: "If you stay ready, you have to get ready."
Absolutely, I love it. So, what got you into educating the financial literacy part of your life? Like, what got you into that? What made you decide to go down this path of your career?
Thank you for asking that. That's a great question. I was um I was really bad at math, really, and I got a D in algebra, and I tried. I really tried, and and what really piqued my interest in financial services was that I want to know how money works. I wanted to know why somebody else had access, opportunity, accomplishments to certain vehicles, lived a lifestyle that I potentially wanted to live. What did they do? They got into the money game, right? And not knocking anybody's business. Everybody, generates income how they see fit, but to have certain amount of money, you got to be in some type of business that generates money in regarding to the money game. So whether it be real estate, credit, financial services. And for me, I was able to find a vehicle that allowed me to help people make money, have fun, and still get educated on certain topics that gave me the access, the opportunities to certain vehicles. So I was excited about it. I got excited. When I first got started, I found out that my parents didn't have all their ducks in a row. Even when I grew up very middle class, right? Me not knowing that it was still a struggle. It was still a struggle. And to piggyback on that too, growing up, middle class could be a very dangerous place because you think everything is okay, so you don't strive for more. So you just kind of stay where you at, even Steven, and you don't strive for more.
Right, right. I like that analogy. Can you discuss like the role of financial education and literacy in helping individuals? How do you go about the helping them with the financial education and helping them make those decisions?
Oh, well, that's the funnest part. That's the funnest part, really getting to sit down with them, kind of figure out where they're at. I like to call it their financial report card, right? And if you have children, we expect them to get good grades, right? And we actually get on them. Why you don't have an A? Why you don't have a B? Why aren't you passing this class? So what I like to do is, without getting too combative with them, if our kids gave us a financial report card, what grade would they give us? And so if we're slipping in some classes, we might need
Oh
some
wow.
tutoring, right? So that's always it's always good to turn the mirror back around and say, okay, I need some help in these areas. So, and again, it's not to make them feel a certain type of way, but to let them know you want to get to a certain place. These are the steps we have to do to get there.
Absolutely. And you know what? Kids are so honest these days. I would hate to ask my child that. I would hate to, and that would make me say, "Hey, girl, you got to get it right."
Exactly. Can you imagine?
Kids are
Hey,
so much honest. Back in the day, if my mom asked me, yeah, if
hmm
my mom asked me that back in the day, I'd say whatever she wanted to hear. These days, these kids, like, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
they hold no punches.
What are the exactly, exactly, none whatsoever. What are some of the key factors considered in choosing like investment, and how can people start investing wisely? I know nowadays a lot of people are investing in different things. Like, what are some of the key factors to consider when choosing those options?
Absolutely. I would definitely say utilizing your resources. Even some clients may not be able to get a hold of a person like myself or somebody in the financial service industry. Use your resources. I know when I first started giving folks tips on investing, I said use your Cash App. Cash App has a great beginning learning tool to pick some stocks.
Okay.
You you're always sending and receiving money anyway. Utilize it to its full capacity. And so that's what like a great starter to just learn about how what to invest. Because some people look at like I make 30, $40,000 a year. How in the world can I invest in Tesla or Amazon or Apple? Well, you don't buy it all at once. You buy a piece at a time, right? I always say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. right? So buying piece by piece with some of the stocks. Um, by the time you look up, you got a couple shares. And then I would tell people invest in stuff that you use, right? As a former athlete, I invest in Nike, Gatorade, um, Under Armour, some of those things, Jordan. Those things are not going away anytime soon. They're always going to make money. Titleist, if you golf,
Okay.
So some of those things that you participate in, if it's on available in for investing, I would definitely say utilize that. And then as that grows, you now can take some of that money and then dip into a more a diversified portfolio like your VOOs or your VTIs. Those are combinations of different stock market companies.
Okay. Okay. So when the wealthy is saying make your money work for you, help us understand what does that mean?
So helping your so kind of just what I was piggybacking on. Make your money work for you. Now that goes a couple different ways. Some people have the opportunity to say that, and then some people
Okay.
don't. And so what I would say to that is, make your money work for you. Investing in things that you have a passion for. So it's something. It may be a uh, a society or a congregation or things of that nature, but things that's gonna help. It's gonna move you, right? Things gonna move you, but then also get more involved and educated on stuff that's gonna make you some money.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So how can individuals effectively manage like manage and reduce debt? Because I know a lot of people are in debt, because again, we trying to live like the Joneses and we end up in debt, and I know especially student loans because we want our kids to go to college. Once you get in college, we don't know about all this stuff until it happens. So how can we effectively manage those things and especially credit cards? So look, those are ones to work towards our financial freedom.
Absolutely. First thing I would say is when you're correcting, reducing debt, paying down your student loans, taking care of credit card debt, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so one of my mentors told me, all that debt that was accumulated, it took time to mess it up. So it's going to take time to fix it. Right. And so when we talk about reducing debt and managing it, again, you got to take the necessary steps. Pay what you can. Pay what you can. Again, if you're in a pinch, you got to stop spending. So we got to practice our disciplines, right? Student loans.
Yes.
We can't rely on our government. They said they're gonna help us out, then they said they don't. So we're kind of on our own, right? So when it comes to student
Yeah.
loans, obviously, if you borrow the money, there are plans in place to where you can, get some assistance with paying that and alleviating that pressure. Credit cards, I would recommend debt stacking. What that means is you're taking the highest interest rate of one of the credit cards that has the highest interest rate, and you're paying that off first, paying the minimums on the other one, and then once that one's paid off, you're now taking the one with the next highest interest rate. You can knock that out in a year to 18 months. And now you can take that money that you're using for the credit cards and apply it to something else to pay off. So again, be patient will be my recommendation because again, it took time to mess it up, so it's going to take time to fix it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Reggie, what would you say to your younger self about budgeting? If you could go back to age, let's say 18, what would you say to yourself about how to budget
Ooh,
correctly and some tips you would have liked to had at that moment?
ooh, wee. Stay single. No, I'm just kidding. I would definitely. I would. I'm joking. I'm joking. To all the high school sweethearts out there, I'm kidding. Um, what would I say to my to my 18-year-old Reginald Whiteley? Your future is bright. Your future is bright if you make conscientious decisions, right? When it comes to financial planning, education, uh, put away early as possible, as much as you can. Because if you think about it, if you have a decent career, we've made a good percentage of people have made $1 million or more. Whatever stage of life you may be at. If you had a career, or if you had a job here and there, or if you had your own business, I would definitely say save early. Um, practice practice what you've been doing, and teach to somebody else, maybe a cousin, maybe a sibling, maybe your family members, um, and get into this industry that I'm in now. I wish I would have got into it earlier.
Mhm.
Man,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
made
I
me
think
think. You made me think.
can
You
you
think about it now. You
I'm
made me
sorry, I
think
was
about
breaking up a
18.
little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, you made me think about when I was 18.
Yep,
I
you're
was
gonna be
like,
sitting
man, if I only had a time machine, right?
down. I know, right? I would go back and redo a lot of things.
Man,
So how can people develop a healthy relationship with money? Because I know a lot of time money, less money, and being broke cause a lot of anxieties and stress. How can we kind of educate people on how to have that healthy relationship with money so it won't develop those other, stressful situations?
that's a two-part question too, because I'm gonna try to answer this best I can, because everybody's scenario is different. Because you have people working a couple different
Hmm.
jobs, and they just want to get by to pay the bills. You have people that are more affluent that are investing. So people's relationship with money is a little bit different. For me personally, through from when I start earning some income to right now, I would definitely say there are different stages. Early on, I abused it, right? Like I didn't appreciate it. I
Okay.
abused it. I took it for granted. Um,
Mhm.
uh, in my earlier years, 20s, 30s, got into a career field where you say, you know what, if I'm going to have a family one day, I need to take some more responsibility. So you get more mature with the money. And now, I'm in a career field where things are a little bit better now, to where you respect it a lot more and you do the necessary things with it. But again, everybody's in a different place with their finances. What I would say is find your passion, find what's going to make you happy, at the same time can potentially generate some income. And I say that because we have unlimited resources. You and I are on this live right now. We don't know who's going to see this and get impacted by it, and do the groundwork behind that, or the necessary steps to enhance their income. We have social media, so there's just so many avenues that we can take to to generate more income. And I think when you generate more income, you'll be able to have a better relationship uh, with funds and money.
Yes, yes. And there are some, resources out there. I know I learned a lot just tracking my expenses. Just coming into this business, I learned a lot myself. So it's very good to kind of educate. And this, like how you go to a movie, you watch this good movie, you want everyone to know about it, right? So learning about finances, it's like I gotta tell everybody, but it's the mindset all again of how everyone perceives it. So what tools that you recommend, like for resources tracking your expenses, managing your investment? I know you mentioned the cash app, that was a good one. But tracking your expenses, is it good to have a financial advisor or a financial professional, and kind of explain to people that it's not expensive, like the outs and ends of it? Because I think sometimes individuals think I don't want a financial advisor or a financial professional because it costs too much. So I know I asked like three questions in one, but
That's okay. That's
if you
okay.
could kind of,
That's
if
okay.
you could kind of,
Yeah. Yeah. No problem. No problem. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not expensive as you think. Sometimes it's not costly at all. Right. I know it's about our upbringing too. If we can kind of go back a little bit, most of us aren't grown up with a financial advisor or a financial coach or professional to kind of show us the next steps along the way. And so we just wing it, right? And that's just based upon how um, economics are, or how our upbringing is, or what type of upbringing you had. I know for myself, I didn't have a financial coach or professional in my family helping us do we want it. My parents said, if you want something, you got to work for it, save the money, then go get it. But they didn't tell me about interest and stuff like that, and compound interest, and things of that nature. So it all pertains to how you what you do. I'm sorry, what you do with the finances when you do get it. So it can be tricky, but it can be done. I would say any type of financial calculator, any financial calendar, and there are many online that you can just Google and find, and a financial tracker, anything like that to keep your finance in order. Any of those work. But as far as a financial professional partnering with, um, they're not costly at all. They're actually willing to help you.
Love it, love it. Now, Reggie, let's talk about marriage and money. Look,
Mm.
y'all, Reggie might not want y'all to know, but he's out there single, but we're gonna ask him anyway. When it comes to so I'm gonna make sure I give y'all his all his hashtags and stuff so y'all can, put in an application. But listen, when it comes to marriage and money, coming from, like, let me give an example. Me and my husband, we come from two different raising. Coming together as a married couple, like, how can someone, what advice would you give them to kind of adapt? Like, how which one is the better financial person? What if they both are not? Or what if one is and one is not? Like, what kind of, have you ever had those kind of circumstances with those kind of clients? And tell me, how did you
Absolutely.
adapt to it, and how did you educate?
Absolutely, that's a great question. I love it. My experience, you always have a person that's the spender, and then you always have a person that's the saver, and so you have to bring them together as a team, right? And so the spender, we have to kind of contain them that way they can really get on the same page with with the end goal in mind. And then the saver, we got to tell him or her, or the husband and wife, not to be not so frugal or so tight to where you're not doing just anything. So it's a total team effort. So you got to find a meeting in the middle to reach that goal, whatever that goal may be. If it's to purchase a house, might have to button some things down or tighten some things up. If we're putting one of the kids through school, we need to purchase a vehicle. Some of the life stuff that happens when you're saving. Now, if you're looking to propose and things of that nature, you're on your own on that one. So the gentleman's on his own on that one. So he'll have to definitely save for that. But but when it comes to the total team effort of a household and a married couple or a couple, it's definitely sitting down, finding out what the goal is, and just being honest with each other too. I found a lot of couples aren't honest up front, and they find out certain things. Where'd you get that account? I didn't know you had
Yeah.
that much. Maybe it wasn't meant for them to know. You never, right?
Tell it on us, Reggie.
So you sometimes you got to protect themselves from themselves, right? And but it all
Yes,
comes down
yes.
to sitting down, being honest with each other, and figuring out what the game plan is to hit that goal together.
I love that. I love that. Let's talk about some of your client stories. Can you tell us about any of your clients that kind of had that you seen have that transformed their financial lives, and how does that make you feel as a financial professional, like helping someone and you seeing their lives change? Give us a client story.
Yeah, I've had the honor and seen the really nobility side of what we do in the financial service industry. On the life insurance side, I've had the honor of delivering a death claim to one of my agent's clients along with him. Um, the client was I think a 37-year-old man, did construction, and his wife was a stay-at-home, and they had two boys, Ryan and Daniel. I'll never forget their names. We're very close as as we can be. Um, their husband, Jake, he unfortunately was he worked for Caltrans. So out here in California, Caltrans, is construction, and they work on the highways and things of that nature. And he got unfortunately hit by struck by a vehicle, and he passed away. And so, but thank God I was able to sit down with him a year prior. It was on a training session for one of the agents that's the agent for the policy as well. And so we got the honor to deliver that policy. It was $1 million to that family, and his wife Danielle and the boys paid off school, got some investments going for them. I'm sorry, paid off the house. Excuse me. Got some investments going for them. Got her set up. She's now working, and so just put them in a much better position. And I don't know, they could have got the services from somewhere else, but they decided to get it with us, and I'm forever grateful that they did, because I had again, I keep saying the honor because it really was. Because most people, when that happens, think about it. What happens to them? They have to have a GoFundMe, depending on the culture, maybe a fish fry or tacos or whatever the case may be, right? And so,
Right.
and so it was just again the nobility side of the business, and it was just a blessing to go service that family.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when you talk about life insurance, I know there's different options out there. How rewarding is it to educate families on the different use of life insurance? Because I'm gonna talk about me. Like growing up, I just thought life insurance was just to pay for your burial, and things like that. So when you get into the life insurance part, how do you get individuals to understand that hey, there are other options out there even while you're living and things like that? So how and then how honoring is it to be able to educate a family when it comes to the different types of life insurance?
Sure, sure. If I could, briefly just talk from a cultural standpoint, in our community, it's not thought about to pass down wealth from generation to generation. And every first class financial plan starts with life insurance. Got to have life insurance in place. Like I mentioned before, God forbid something happens to the spouse, can I go replace that person's income? More than likely, the answer is no. And so, in our culture, and most cultures too, but mainly ours, uh, they get a little bit of life insurance, or they get some through their job, and they think they're set. But most people don't understand when you leave that job, that insurance stays with the job. It doesn't go with you. Yeah, you may get offered at another job, but what happens when you stop working? You have no more insurance. And then not having the proper insurance, right? The best insurance is the one that's in place when you need it the most. Okay, number one. But number two, life insurance can be used as a savings vehicle. And most people don't know that just because we haven't been educated about it. And so everybody deserves a first class financial education. It's kind of our mantra, with my firm. But
I like that.
but it takes place, number one, on the education, and sitting down with the right person or the right people to make sure you get the right things in place, right? And if it comes down to affordability, then you just work what's affordable for you. But life insurance has to be, in a person's portfolio, or they have to have life insurance. We don't know. We may be in the rise of another global pandemic, right? A lot of stuff is going on in the world right now that has a threat to your mortality and your lifespan. So from the food we eat to what's going on in the world, right? Life insurance has got to be in place. And so how it makes me feel, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. At first it was just to do it to make some money, but now it's more of a crusade, and really how many people can I impact, or my team, or my company, how many families or businesses or people in general can we impact when it comes to the life insurance game?
I love it. So what is your vision of a financial successful life, and what final advice or motivation can you offer to help others on their financial journey?
My vision so for financial success is what I've thought early on when I first got into the industry, just being financially free, right? Just being financially free. What does that look like? Not having to
Mhm.
worry, where the money's going to come from. Building something, sustaining something to where uh, my family can go do whatever we want, whenever we want. Not having a thumb on our head, not being held back, and going to do what God has really put us here to do. If you have a
Mhm.
job, there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes there's different avenues that you need to take to really find your purpose, right? Um, what I can say as far as motivation, you can do it. Don't think that you can't, right? Don't think that you cannot. Everybody's running their own race, and so you may
Mhm.
not get there as fast as you want, but you can get there. And then with that, though, excuse me, you have people watching, your children, your family. Somebody's always watching you, and from that, you could potentially inspire
Mhm.
somebody to do the same. So you definitely want to get yourself in order first, and then you can help somebody else.
I love it. I love it. I thought that was the final question, but I have another one.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so Reggie, I know we're both looking for types of individuals to partner with us so we can help and build them and help them learn how to educate family as well. Can you tell the viewers what type of individuals you're looking for to partner with and to educate?
Yeah, for individuals that maybe looking to take a look at the industry, we're looking for individuals that want to do something a little bit bigger and better, right? Whether you be man, woman, uh, our organization, you talk about diversity and inclusion, is the most diverse organization on the planet. Um, whether it be just to make more money or get educated on how this stuff works, right? Everybody should get a first class financial education, whether you make $50,000 a year or you make $500,000 a year. Everybody deserves to know how money works. And so those are the type of people we're looking for. Um, People that come from all different walks of life. Um, and again, want to do something a little bit bigger and better, but want to have fun too. Maybe you want to travel. We do that. We're able to do that. Maybe you want to make some more money. We take care of that as well. Um, those were some things that were very important to me. As I started my journey with this, um, getting into the industry, I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't traveling anywhere. I was going from San Bernardino to Vegas, maybe some trips with my family, but my passport's been stamped multiple times by getting involved in the correct organization and with the right people.
Okay, I think I froze for a minute. I think I'm back.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I was trying to. I don't know if you had. I didn't hear back. I would also say, you have to have. Um, I think God puts us here for a reason, right? And I believe that this was put on my path for a reason. And this this recording or this live or this show here is here for a reason, to reach the people that want to be reached. And I think God doesn't make no mistakes. And so if you want to get into this industry, think about how much you can contribute
Yes.
to your congregation or whatever you want to do, right? I just make sure you keep God in the center of all you that you do. And if this is part of it, we would love to show you who we are and what we're able to help you with.
Thank you so much, Reggie. But before we leave, can you tell everyone where they can find you at on social media or any emails or how they could get in touch with you?
Absolutely, absolutely. My firm is Opulent Management Inc. All right, that's www.opmaninc.com. That's www OPMANINC.com. You can find me on IG, the_Reggie Whiteley. You can find me on TikTok at Hustle231. And my email is Reginald, REGINALD, at Opman Inc. OPMANINC.com.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Reggie. You guys, this has been awesome. I hope you all took a lot of notes. Let's go get out a good, healthy relationship with our money because look, we can have a good relationship with our man, but if we ain't got a good relationship with our money, ain't nothing gonna be right. So this is our time. Thank you guys for stopping by on the Journey of Success. This is your girl, the Life Coach Navigator, and we will see you all next Thursday. Have a good one.
All right. God bless. Thank